Hello and welcome to a very late night special edition of Starting XP presents Storyteller Section. A new player has just arrived, and with me is joined by a long-time contributor to the Out of Order show and best bud, Josh. How's up? How's it going?
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
So, you are the new cast member of Starring Experience, and originally you were supposed to be on B-sides, but due to last minute scheduling, I was able to form the cast in time, but you're always in, the West Wing of the show, and so I figured why as well, we lost Evan, so I said screw it, let him be on the Sabbat show, the Sabbat prime time. And you and I, we have a long history with Vampire and Sabbat in particular. Just give the audience and the people watching, what's your background in roleplay as far as World of Darkness or just roleplay in general?
Well, been playing for over 16 years.
Yeah.
I've been playing White Wolf for at least 14 of those years.
Mm-hmm.
Played in almost every setting of Old World White Wolf.
Mm-hmm. And what is White Wolf to you? Like, as far as, like, because you and I, we kind of came up on the same sort of, early 2000 or late 90s, early 2000 game where it was like 3rd edition was like king, but there was all these sprinkles of all these different type of role-playing games like Besom and Deadlands and L5R. So, like, what stood out for you when it came to White Wolf games in particular?
Well, the fact that I've always been into vampires, that was technically the first jump into White Wolf, was playing a vampires game.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy it because most role-playing games are either fantasy, like Old West. There isn't a lot of modern games, and the few that are kind of like Besom, which is just so far off from normal world that it was nice to be able to. Well, this kind of mirrors real life, but with just supernaturals.
Well, anime is the anime, so it's never gonna be as real life. But, like, I don't know. I guess you and I don't know. You probably started role playing before with your older brother, because he actually ran with the same crew that I eventually ran into, and that's where I kind of got my start in the whole role play thing. And then, like, you and I have just been best friends ever since. So I'm kind of glad that you're here. Kind of glad that you're a part of this experience. Not to be on brand, but I'm being on brand. But regardless, what are we here to talk about, Josh? What are you playing? How does this? There's going to be a lot of deep cuts because a lot of what I'm basing Josh's character is actually heavily inspired by our early roleplay career, as it were, our early roleplay experiences in LARP. So a lot of the people he's going to be explaining, a lot of people he's going to be talking about, and that I'm going to be talking about, is basically inspired by other interactions we had growing up. So, but who is your character? What is your character? Why is he even here? Give us the, like, just basically the 2-minute pitch of your character.
So, my character is no older than 10 years of age in vampire years. He was being groomed to become one of the true Black Hand.
The Talmud.
And he did a lot of just minor tasks, learning the basics, kind of like Sam Tarly from Game of Thrones. They had him learning a lot. They put him through school. He has a formal medical education, like a lot of those of the clan that he became.
So you mentioned the Talmaron, and a lot. It's like a very deep cut in the vampire metaverse. So just to kind of give a recap, the Talmaron, aka the True Black Hand, is what started out to be a kind of like a doomsday cult. They're kind of like a well organized machine, but their end goal is to basically not end the world, but like have the world revert to like a state of like chaos so that they can influence people and supernatural. And the Talmarine, especially your clan, they're kind of seen as like one of the founders of the Talmarine, and that's why the Sabbat were heavily influenced by their actions, because the way the Black Hand works is similar to what the Sabbat wanted in a sense, and that's kind of how I wanted to ask you a little bit about. Obviously, the big question in the room is like, how do you feel about the Sabbat? How do you feel about the Black Hand? How do you feel about Gehenna? That it came and went and nothing happened. How did your character react to all this? How did he react to knowing that he was part of this quote unquote Gehenna cult? Or did you have no idea that you were part of this Gehenna cult? You just, this is what vampire society was into you when you were a ghoul or newly embraced?
Well, my character was shortly embraced before the slaughter of the Tamara,
Mm-hmm.
ending what was the True Black Hand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he hadn't fully encompassed the whole Gehenna cult. He wasn't like he never fully got immersed in it. They didn't fully get him.
To
Like I
become a
said,
believer.
it was the whole, hey, you need to be here before we even think about doing anything with you. Oh, you're finally here. Well, it's time to induct you. And then shortly after being inducted is when his whole world got flipped upside down. Uh,
So your world flipping upside down, right? Did you know who, as a mortal, did you know who you were working for? Did you have any insight to the clan that you're playing? Like, did you have, because you're playing a very unique clan, and we're just gonna say this right off the bat as I switch over to character creation stuff, that you're playing a very like, it's a clan restricted to ST approval, but knowing me and knowing how I like, everything to be a special little snowflake in my world, I decided to be like, hey, I can let Josh play this. You're playing a Nagaraja. So one of the biggest drawbacks of a Nagaraja is the fact that they are pretty much like cannibals. They don't get blood from drink. They don't get substance from just drinking blood. They have to consume flesh. So, did your character see or witness anything like that as like your sire or something close to your sire was showing you?
uh, they they kind of led, yeah, you can, like they have sharp teeth. Like that's,
Mm-hmm.
we don't have fangs. We have
Yeah.
sharp teeth. Uh, so they're like, yeah, we're not the typical vampires. We don't drink blood. We have to consume the flesh. And you don't have to eat humans. You can go and eat animals. That's how some of us do it. And some of us get close to morgues. It's one reason why we had to specialize in medicine, so you can go work in morgues and be able to get your sustenance through those means. And uh, so he wasn't fully like, yeah, you're primarily going to have to eat people to get your sustenance,
Hmm.
uh, until shortly before he braced. But by that point, they had got worked in his head so much that he was convinced that immortality was more important than eating the flesh of mortals.
Than people.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sorry, I'm trying to open up the my Adobe Acrobat, but for some reason it's not letting me open it. Just to kind of go through character creation stuff. So I was gonna say, what like I said, I have the character sheet open up right here. What is what's your name? What's your nature and demeanor? What makes you you?
Well, I have not picked a name yet. I am going to have to do a little bit of research.
Okay, so
Uh,
I mean, that's a pet peeve of mine, but I'll ignore it for now. That's because the person who got me into role playing, he was very of the mindset of like, you gotta have a name. Like name is who you are. So okay, so your nature's survivor. That's pretty understanding, from what you've explained thus far. Um, you know, being in a Gehenna cult is not easy. Like, and not even knowing, you probably saw things that mortals were not supposed to see, sort of shit.
yeah.
Like, you saw arcane rituals, summonings of otherworldly things. And so, in your mind, you're probably like, okay, 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 this is fine, this is fine. Like, what was it about? Was it like I'm part of this thing and there's no escape, or was it something deep down inside, like you wanted immortality, you wanted power? What was it that, like, because I would say the normal person would kind of snap and kill themselves, or at least get themselves into a situation where they get themselves killed. So what kind of kept your character going as a survivor?
So initially, it was a means to an end. He wasn't going to go anywhere in his life. His parents didn't have money, fairly impoverished, kind of in a not so great area of town.
Mm-hmm. And
And
so, are we basing your character off any particular area? Do you want to be in Los Angeles? Do you want to be somewhere else? And then you got moved to Los Angeles? Like, what's the deal?
no, I was in just a bad part of LA.
Okay.
It,
South Central, or East
it's like
LA, or somewhere in the
I,
valley.
yeah, I was like a white kid and with a downtrodden uh, family near in areas where I was treated like dirt because I didn't fit in.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, as I grow older into teenage life, I became very rebellious, a lot of grim, in essence, a goth kid.
Yeah.
Uh, Started going to raves and stuff like that. During one of the raves, snuck off with a few people, and we ran across a group of people that were doing some weird shit at, to what would later be known. They were performing some rituals. Uh, uh, when they turned around, the other kids kind of ran off, where I just kind of stood there, mesmerized by the summoning of the spirit
Mm-hmm.
that they were doing. And uh, they noticed me, realized that I wasn't afraid of what was going on, and took a liking to me. They started bringing me in,
Mm-hmm.
uh, ex- kind of explained what they were doing. Thought it was really weird that most of like only one of the group came up and talked to me. Uh, at the time, he didn't have sharp teeth because he at what I didn't know was he was hiding his true appearance,
Mm-hmm.
though all he was really doing was just masking his teeth. Later, he would show what his true appearance was just uh, what he looked like just with the teeth.
Now I'm reading the weakness just for reference because they don't normally have sharp teeth. They don't have any. They just have to consume flesh. But we do have access to the Lore of the Bloodlines book, and I'm assuming you inherited the merit that your sire had, which is the shark teeth merit.
Shark teeth,
Yeah,
not
the
shark
sharp.
teeth.
But it's like shark teeth. They're basically, you have
Hmm.
like extra rows of teeth, and they're extra sharp. So, um, okay. Well, what about your demeanor? What is your demeanor? What do you express to everyday normal people, the people of the norm, the world of darkness?
Well, due to this situation, it was like, bam, okay, you're in this situation. You had to conform to this new group of people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I also then had to conform to what a typical, because was first picked up when I was in high school.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they pushed me forward and made me work towards medical and had me go to college and start getting a medical degree.
Mm-hmm.
While I then had to go from a high school to a college while also maintaining my personality inside their group. And then right after I graduate is when they embraced me, which then threw a whole new demeanor because then they showed their true selves to me,
So,
explaining this additional world of the Sabbat and them being true hand.
so they were Sabbat. They were never again. They were a Sabbat. They were Gehenna cult within the Sabbat. They weren't just
Yeah.
this outside force. They were people saying like, "Hey, man, like this is what the Sabbat's about." So you've had a relatively Sabbat upbringing. So you know the Code of Milan. You know the basic Riate. You understand the difference between the Cam and the Sabbat, and you understand all the different factions that are going on, which is pretty much what the Talmarine are. They're not supposed to be like shovel heading people into their group. They're like you. They're supposed to be grooming, basically making sure that their operatives act within higher positions to Sabbat, so that their influence can be widespread throughout the whole entire sect. And so you were probably primed for something pretty important. In fact, maybe you have some background information on, what transpired during, the events of after 2001, which was in Los Angeles. If you know the video game Bloodlines takes place in, you know that there was a Sabbat regime. They were very disorganized, but they were really powerful. They were led by a very powerful Samis. But then there was all this other chaos that was brewing around with the Anarchs and the Cam, and they were like, "You're gonna go in and not necessarily fix this mess, but you're gonna go in and you're going to like steer this chaos to our favor rather than anybody else's favor." Because there's apparently this ancient vampire that all these fucking vampires are fighting over in this sarcophagus. And so you probably were like getting ready to be like, "Okay, I'm gonna do my best to figure out like what the hell's going on," and then too little too late. The Sabbat failed. Sabbat got pretty much just destroyed before you could even go in and figure out and like do spiritual investigation. In fact, there was also rumors that there was another very powerful occultist was there, so they kind of were like, we're gonna pull you out. We're not gonna put you in because you're too valuable to us, because there's some crazy other necromancer that if you played Bloodlines, you know exactly who it is, which was the crazy Nagaraja chick, which is part of your bloodline as well. So that's basically was your duty. And then what happened in 2010?
Well, uh, uh, they were, we were, I had always been on the outside because they wanted me more for infiltration.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't want to fully engross me into the top tiers of the overall entity known as Black Hand.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't like. I don't know like massive lore about it. I don't know every power player. I didn't know all their schemes, but they were trying to get me find a place in California for me
Mm-hmm.
when everything went down.
Okay.
Uh,
So let's go. Let's step aside from like background stuff. Let's actually go to the meat and bones of the character. So, um, we'll leave the sire blank, but let's start 753-1395. So, you are gonna start with extra XP to kind of keep up with the other players, but I want to just kind of go over like the base character creation with you. So, take it away. What's the primary, man? I'm assuming, of course.
well, the Nagaraja are very mental based.
Mm-hmm.
They're all about their primary ability is all about necromancy, which is very cult based.
Mm-hmm.
So they're very high intelligence.
But they also have a very unique, um, and I was surprised by a very unique discipline set because it's very Tremere. Actually, it's Auspex dominate necromancy, which Tremere is Auspex dominate thaumaturgy. So it's sort of crazy because the history of Nagaraja was that if the Order Hermes House Tremere are the filthy usurpers, the Nagaraja are the Thanatos filthy usurpers that plunge themselves into quietus and turn themselves into vampires. So you are also playing not technically a usurper, but you're playing a clan that were once a group of mages who decided that, hey, immortality is better than paradox.
exactly.
Which I don't know. I find it hard to believe that if you're a powerful enough mage, just get Prime 5. Just get Prime 5. Paradox becomes a joke and actually can become a fuel source if you know how to do it right. So, so 753, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. 3, I'm assuming you're going to probably put into your socials, possible. It's a possibility. I'm not sure. But let me just go a little bit into, like, your background. Or not the background, but, like, who you are in this campaign. You are going to be the lead into Season 2, which will happen relatively probably around October is when I'm probably going to lead into the Season 2. Hopefully things will be kind of wrapped up or at least kind of done in the city and county of Kern. And then the real fight, the real like sort of lead up will be into Los Angeles, which will have a great tie-in to a lot of the stuff that has been modernized. So a lot of things have happened in the White Wolf sort of IP. There hasn't been any new stuff. I mean, obviously, 20th anniversary kind of gave kind of like a revision of like what happened in the last 10 years. There has been numerous like other source of media, but the biggest one is the By Night Studio. They created this kind of like this is like, and White Wolf is like heavily adopting this premise as well because they're kind of the same people who do By Night are like in conjunction with the people who are at White Wolf now. So Gehenna came and went. The Sabbat are against the wall. They've been losing ground in most of their primary, locales, except for places that will always be under Sabbat control, like Mexico City. There's no way in hell the cam can get a hold of that. It's just far too engrossed in all this other crazy metaplot bullshit. But they're invading Central America. The Camarilla has like a South America, Central America compounds now, and then major cities that used to belong to the Sabbat are now in Camarilla control or in Anar control. So seeing this like change, like does your character still believe in the Sabbat, or is it kind of like a means to an end still? Like after the Talmarine, aka the Black Hand, the true Black Hand, gets destroyed, quote unquote. It's like their organization is too vast and like spooky to like truly destroy them, but the majority of them in the Sabbat have been destroyed. So like what is your character's thoughts after seeing this like massive like power regime, like the sect's on the verge of being destroyed? Like how does your character feel about that?
He realizes that the downfall of the Sabbat will create such a power void that the Cam will be more than welcome to step in and fill.
Okay.
That he has been attempting to keep it afloat, even though he isn't like a true, yeah, the Spot is the greatest, yeah. He realizes that you have to have balance, and at no, like, it's kind of the Sabbat goes away. Eventually, a new organization, most likely the Anarchs, will rise up and become what the Sabbat, fill that Sabbat gap. And they know how lack of actual how the lack of organization with the Anarchs are, and with them all being super young, they really don't have that much of a chance to be able to really put up a true resistance against the camera.
Yeah. So what about elders in the Sabbat? Does your character think that they will probably jump ship and kind of make a deal with the Cam and kind of like establish themselves as Cam members? Because you've seen firsthand the Talmarine how they basically can do that. They've shifted people from the Cam to Sabbat and vice versa in secret, of course, but like the whole idea that that this is great jihad is basically a game of elders. Like, do you distrust the elders of the Sabbat to kind of sell out the younger ones, or are you kind of like they're too far gone inhumane to ever be part of the Sabbat, or if it's kind of like a mixture of both, or something completely different?
There's, like you said, this is the great jihad. Everybody's in it to play for themselves.
Yeah.
With any elder, you can only trust them as far as you could throw them. And so there's only so much true trust you can give them. And so
anyways, so fill out your dots as I kind of go over some of the stuff that we discussed off cast about what your role is, who you know, and like what are the certain NPCs that you are going to be bringing into the game that are associated with you. So with LA being LA, after the fall of, actually let me find that guy's name. I always forget the cast of. I always know, like I know Sebastian because Sebastian is the main douchebag of the series, but like about. Let's see, where is it? Not Marco. Prince Sebastian LaCroix. Nines Rodriguez. Where was that? Who is this Zamise? Try to remember the Zamise. Maximilian Stannis. You know about him. He's very dangerous. He's kind of a douchebag. Let's see. Zemis. There it is. What was his name? Oh, Enderel. Enderel was the what was he? Was he the bishop or archbishop? He was the he was the Archbishop of LA. So yeah, Enderel was the Archbishop of LA and was kind of leading the entire like task of the invasion. But he did it to like, he did it in the old Sabbat way, which was, shovel head, strap a bunch of, crazy people, and that first opening scene in Bloodlines where you just ran into like Feral Gangrel and like Bruhawk. It's just crazy fucking vampires going crazy on each other. So that is not what the Sabbat, or I mean, some people in the Sabbat want to go back to those days, but there are some that you saw, that that you've ran into, that are not, they're not cool with that. And this is where you have like your first encounter with the Seven. You and your pack, you are given this meeting with the Seven. Now, your character knows that the Seven they're just lapdogs to the region. In fact, most of the Seven were the ones that routed and destroyed most of the true Black Hand. A lot of them were like there when they were like in Mexico City, trying to expose their havens, dragging them out, killing them. So most of these guys have killed people that you might have known. So I don't know if you're going to have any sort of animosity towards them, because even though they were the Talmarine and they were evil, quote unquote, because they're evil in the eyes of the sect, but that was a lot of knowledge. That was a lot of like preparation. There could have been people who could have been spared for their abilities and their knowledge, but in the Sabbat mindset, it's better to just kill them off, because we don't want any of that fucking corruption. We don't want any of their influence polluting the mind sect of the younglings, or even influencing elders. So what is your initial reaction to hanging out with the Pride? Because Peaches, your archbishop, the new archbishop of Los Angeles, Peaches is like, yo, these whack-ass motherfuckers thinking they could be coming up in here telling us what we can do because the regent sent their fucking lapdogs here? Man, fuck those wiggers, man. Fuck them in their fucking pussy hole. Who is Peaches to you? What is Peaches to your character?
Peaches to anybody should be like just a good leader.
Yeah.
She is somebody that has shown dependability, truly caring about her fellow sect members.
Mm-hmm.
And like, there's a reason why she has become the archbishop. It's not 100% of just, oh, look, this person fought for it. It's like she built the alliances she needed to be able to hold that position. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't necessarily taken by force. It was just taken by proper leadership and pretty much letting people know that if you get in their way, you might just not be here anymore.
Yeah. So Peaches pretty much militarized the Sabbat in Los Angeles. Took all the roaming packs and basically eliminated anybody who didn't say otherwise, who didn't fall in line. So you pretty much have lots. You have like Riverside under your thumb. You have parts like the more. You have Ventura. You have what else? You don't have Los Angeles County, but you do have parts of the outskirts of Los Angeles County. So you have like Palmdale, Lancaster, the high desert area, and that's why this meeting between the 7 is taking place in your guys' backyard. And they want to meet in Palmdale because they're literally 45 minutes away. They're doing their business is conducting in Kern County, and so Peach is there, kind of like, fuck these fools thinking they could just be all up in our business. I'm the one that runs this shit. I'm the one that runs this shit. By the way, Peach is 80-year-old woman. 80-year-old grandma woman, Malkavian, doesn't know that she's an old 80-year-old woman. But don't fuck with Peaches. So, you get to this meeting. You, Peaches, Little Billy, Othar, and, a bunch of remnant, miscellaneous NPCs that are in the shadows that are yet to be seen are standing there, and you see emerge from from this dark corner of this warehouse. You see Pride, Wrath, and Gluttony. And Pride, takes off his mask, and you see like there's all these all these cases filled with guns that are like military grade, and Peaches is like, so what the fuck? You be coming to my archdiocese, and this is all you got? I could get guns. Yo, can I get guns? That's your cue, Josh. He's just telling somebody. He's just like,
well, I'd expect there's be other people there.
Yeah, there's other people.
My character wouldn't be like, yeah, get guns.
So like Little Billy's like, Little Billy, this tiny like albino or like this white looking kid, but he has like darkened skin. He's like, yeah, we can get guns. We can get guns all the damn time. Pride is like, this is not about pain. This is about paying homage and respects. You know why we are here. The Regent wants us to take Los Angeles and the West Coast. This is our contribution to your war efforts. But we are going to be implementing our operations here in the next coming months. So I want to at least give you information and files pertaining to people that will be implemented and integrated into your archdiocese. So what? You're just going to come in here? You're going to be taking over? Did the Regent put you to the bloodbath? Are you going to be fucking Archbishop? No. We are not here to take control. We are here simply to fulfill the Regent's desire. And you will maintain the sect as you see fit. And the people who will be coming to your archdiocese will respect and serve you with your appropriate title. But I need one of yours in order to fill them in on the details. And there has been a matter of importance that the region has given me information on, that one of your members, one of your pack mates, may have information on. Wait, what? What? They got files on us and shit? They got files on us and shit? Nah, fuck that. Peaches don't fucking like that shit. You keeping tabs on me? This is about fucking freedom. It is freedom. But we know who you hold in your clutches, Peaches. That's Archbishop Peaches, bitch! Your Holiness. That one points at you. Has seen and witnessed things that no mere mortal has ever seen. And there is a crisis in the county of Kern that may need his expertise in dealing with infernal. Oh shit! What you know about fucking demons?
All I know is about the underworld.
The Archbishop or the Regent is very interested in procuring your expertise, your mind, and your background could prove essential to our war efforts in Kern. We ask of you if you could please spare your time in order to help us with this disaster, which could bring down your very archdiocese as well. Kern is a valuable asset. It is basically the moving grounds between north and south of California. If we lose Kern, then we lose California. Nah, fuck that. Those hillbillies can get their fucking shit whacked out. I've been doing shit. I've been running this shit the way Peaches runs this shit. Ain't that right? Othar is like, he just kind of like, he has like these big horns. They're sticking out of his cloak. He doesn't show his face. He's like, very like, it appears that we have but two options. Either we support the Seven in their endeavors and gain an influential ally with the Regent for further developing in the Sabbat, or we turn a blind eye to a brother in need so that they can prove themselves worthy to the sect, and we do not bask in any glory. Glory is overrated in my opinion. Well, we had to fight a lot of anarchs here most of the time. But I don't know, demons? Aren't they like, I don't know, unkillable or something? Josh, give me an intelligence code roll. Because you were trained in demonology. Like, the Talmarine, they summon demons. So, yeah, you can kind of chime in and be like, well, actually, it's not that they can't be killed. It's just that they, you need their true name in order to kill them. Or do you just keep quiet? I'm assuming you keep quiet then. So, Pride walks over to you and it says, I really only, my eyes are normally my guiding point. I see unblindly. My vision is usually clear, but there's something in this place in Kern that blocks my sight. So normally my methods of dealing with the Infernal are useless. I need someone who understands and knows how to see those who have fallen into servitude. Do not forget, you may be a member of the Sabbat, but you are also protected by Peaches. And any moment, he's like, tink! It's just like, the region has commanded us to take this city by any means. Do you wish to serve your Archbishop?
Why would I not want to serve Peaches?
Then, by serving us, you serve him. And then you see Wrath, he's like, okay, yeah, all right. Look, I think we kind of got off the wrong foot here, right? We're all brothers and sisters of the sword, all right? What is 2 hours gonna do for you, right? Do you need me to need you to pick you up? Do you want me to provide you transportation? Do you have some sort of requirement, some sort of special needs? Because all I'm asking is you just come down, you come hang out with these cool cats in Kern. We need to figure out what the hell's going on so that we can get rid of the cam and so that we can move on to Los Angeles. That cool? Because this dick waving, this whole who's what and what's where, it's kind of getting old. And me personally, I just rather, have us be friends rather than, dicking rivals with each other. Like, I've killed my fair share of camis. I've killed my fair share of anarchs, and I've definitely killed my fair share of false Sabbat. All right? So, all the bullshit aside, let's just fix our shit. Let's get Los Angeles, because that's our goal here, right? Peaches, do you want to be the Archbishop of all of Los Angeles? Or do you just want to be the Archbishop of places that people confuse for Los Angeles? Because Ventura and Riverside and parts of San Bernardino are not Los Angeles. You don't even have any foothold in the city of Los Angeles at all. Bitch, you don't know that. You don't know anything. You don't know how I run this shit. You don't know exactly. Billy's like, do we actually have any part of Los Angeles? Othar's just like,
I think Frankie had Hollywood Boulevard for a couple minutes last week.
Yeah. Fuck. So, you help us and we help you. And if you want me to fucking monkey stomp some fuckers, I'll monkey stomp some fuckers for you. Pride here, he'll monkey stomp some fuckers for you. Gluttony, he'll eat some motherfuckers for you. Do you want that, Peaches? Do you want to use us as your soldiers for your war, for your crusade? All we're asking is we just take your little pal over there for a couple weeks, and he could come down and visit whenever he wants. He's not being restricted in any way, shape, or form. We just need his expertise. Because somewhere in his mind, he probably knows something that even he doesn't know. Because, hold on, he pulls out his cell phone. He's like, oh, shit, you're that guy. Oh, fuck. Sorry for your condolences. Like, he didn't really know who you were until he just like, oh shit. Fuck. Yeah, man. Fuck. Dick move on my part, man. I killed a whole lot of you fucks. But it was business. Alright? You cool? Are we all cool? I need a minute. You got a minute? Can you give us a minute? Motherfucker, can you give us a fucking minute? Yeah, all right, cool. Snaps his fingers, walks over to like the other side of the warehouse. You guys kind of huddle over, and he's like, "Man, fuck these motherfuckers. I say we fuck them up right now." Othar's like, "The one that they call Gluttony is an experiment of my clan. He is a war ghoul fused with kindred blood. We call it a blood brother. But he is alone. That is very odd. But I have heard that he is very dangerous. And if we were to attack the 7, it may mean we lose people this evening." Billy's like, "I'm not afraid of no bitches." And Peach is like, "What'd I say about you swearing?" Smacks him like in the face, like, "Ow! Sorry. Now I better not be catching you swearing. I'll smack you so far your head, I'll slap the white out of you." It's like, "Oh, well, I mean, I like Los Angeles. It's cool. I mean, are you gonna miss us, man?"
Of course, I'll miss you, little Billy.
Aw, he kind of like hugs you. He's like 4'11". He's like a toddler.
I do think it's in our best interest to assist our brothers. Them coming in, acting like it is some great benefit to us for us pulling them out of the shit that they've gotten into up there.
Oh,
This is a little bit ridiculous.
well, I know you and Othar are all about that spooky mumbo jumbo shit, but Christ Almighty, fucking demons? Goddamn.
At least they're not talking about the Bali.
Well, I know if we have a Bali on our mist, we fucking wiped out that fucking hive of them a few weeks ago. Fuck them fuckers. Satanists up in my shit. Fuck them Satanists. I'm a church-going Christian. Billy's like, "I thought you were Cathar." "Yeah, I worship God. The dark God. But I go every Sunday." "Bitch, I put on my flyest shit ever. After I go to the club." Nothar's just like, he's death in his soul, so he just doesn't care. He's just like, "Either way, they will bring something to our crusade. Maybe we can finally take either Long Beach or Santa Monica or even Huntington Beach. Somewhere where we can have access to trade routes. Trade routes would be important. And then we can slowly surround other populous areas like Hollywood or Compton or Inglewood. And then finally we can move into Los Angeles premiere." But there's that one fellow, that Malkavian, who's in our way most of the time. The one in Beverly Hills. And Beach is like, "Nah, fuck that fool. He's always up in my shit. Fucking pings me on the fucking goddamn network, taunting my ass. Told him came and fucking used the right line." God, I hate being fucking Malkavian sometimes. It's like you know the fucking code, but you can't do anything about it. Fuck them fuckers. What do you think, man? You want to do it for them?
I'd be doing it for you. Help you bring them in so we can finally take control.
Yeah. Especially get them warmed up at those fucking Quadgen, that be we fucking running with. Now those fucks are even scarier. Here, give Pride this. This fucking declaration bullshit. Maybe the Regent needs to know about this shit too. I've been kind of putting it off, but now that shit's kind of hit the fan here in Los Angeles, maybe you can prime them up, get them ready for God knows what.
All right.
Because I run this shit. I gotta keep this shit pimped. I can't be showing any signs of weakness. I'll expect all you to not show any weakness either. Especially you, points at you. Don't be going in there being buddy-buddy with them. You tell them straight up what they're fucking signing up against. You got renegade fucking anarchs. Fucking thin bloods running amok. You got cammies fucking hiding in every fucking hidey hole with fucking magic out the ass. Conspiring with fucking Giovanni bullshit. You tell them. You tell them Los Angeles runs fucking hard. You tell him, man. He just starts like psyching you up. It's like tits your chest. You tell him. You tell him. You tell him, motherfucker. You tell him. You tell him where they're coming in. They better like where they're from. Little countryside motherfuckers. Tell them they're about to go into the oven in this shit. It's fucking war. Whoo! Pulls out his gun. Bah, 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 bah. Just, you see, like, Pride just go like shoot, like pull out his like sword, and then you just see like on the other corner you see like Gluttony's muscles kind of bulge out a little bit more. Like he's just wearing like, you know, like biker shorts, and he's wearing like those, what are those type of shoes? It's like the foot shoes, like the athletic foot shoes, like they're just molded to your feet, and like, you know, bare chested, glistening muscle, but he's just like. You know, they said some danger, but he's just like, calm down. Just having a moment here. And so you see Pride put away his sword, and you see Wrath, like his fists start glowing. You tell him. You tell him what they're about to fucking go into. This fucking war. Got it? I don't want you being fucking bookworm on that shit. You take what they have and you bring it to me. If they got fucking obtenebration, I want you fucking swimming in shadows. If they got fucking Serpentis, I don't want you having hearts. I want you taking out their hearts and your hearts and then putting their hearts in this fucking shadow fucking abyss. If they got vicissitude, I want you fucking growing spines out of your goddamn eyelids. If they got celerity, I want you running around in circles. Around little Billy. They got quietus. I want you not only licking fucking daggers, I want you fucking drenching in your fucking poison. You got that? You take what you can and give nothing back. That's the Cathari way. And that's what I taught you. Praise Cain.
Praise Cain.
Praise Cain. Praise Cain. So, we looked at your character sheet. We mapped out a little bit. How did you change this? Oh, that's weird. I'm gonna have to contact the admin on that. Why the conscious has a U?
Yeah. Well, obviously there's an error because it's red.
Yeah. I'll contact admin. So, so you have generation. So you start off. You have. Generation, you get, in being a member of the Sabbat, you start off with no backgrounds, but you get an additional dot in a discipline. So you obviously start off with Necromancy 4. You start off on the path of Cathar. Now, we talked about this off-cast, but it was either Honorable Accord or Cathar. So what finally made you, like, settle being Cathar?
Not having as much of a stick up the ass. Like, I was trying to, like, my character isn't all about just killing and consuming every human that he comes across.
Mm-hmm.
He does find value in things.
Yeah.
and he really wouldn't want to follow such a straight out like code of conduct, like, oh, you have to do this and you have to do that. If you say this, and I would have to watch what I say very closely,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not necessarily what this guy.
Is about.
Yeah.
So, and being on spot, you can. I didn't give the options to the current PCs, but I'm giving the option to you, seeing how deeply rooted in spot you are. You can start on a path. So being on a path that it has conviction instinct, you don't get those points. So you start with 1 dot in courage, but no points in instinct or conviction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So this should be with all points expended, including freebie points.
Okay. So you have what are your merits and flaws?
So
Yeah. So you have Path of Virtuous, which is a pretty I to be honest, I've kind of I looked at it, but I didn't actually get like a grasp of it. So what makes their necromancy path special than any other necromancy?
they deal more with the deeper parts of the underworld.
Yeah.
Like they directly have access to specters and wraiths, which not even the Giovanni really deal with.
Mm-hmm.
They other necromancies deal with the lower, the basic spirits where we fuck with the hard shit.
Yeah. So like Breath of Thanos, the Night Cry, which is basically all the so there's like in the Wraith Oblivion, there are two types of ghosts. There are wraiths and then there are specters. Specters are ghosts that have completely given over to their angst, and angst is kind of like the system where like in order to be a wraith, you have to have some sort of emotional strong tie to the real world. May it be like an object or a love or a passion. And then the shadow that's inside the wraith is trying to destroy those connections, those fetters, so that once you destroy all of the fetters, the shadow can completely take over. And then the shadow is just basically this fucked up evil nightmare like version of the wraith. And like like you said, you can conjure up those particular ghosts, which are usually impossible to control because they have no will of their own. They're literally driven by this insane passion, this insane like specters. They never really explain about what Oblivion is, and they know Abyss is connected to Oblivion, and Abyss is the gateway to hell. But specters are not tied to demons. It's just they're like the natural insanity of the universe. It's just like the natural evil, as it were. So you can control like the death energies of the universe, the entropic forces, which is a callback to your to your clan heritage being a Thanatos, because they literally can control the quapothic, entropic forces of their sphere. So, but besides that, so you spent your freebie points on. So you got necromancy to 5, so that was 7. You spent 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on freebies. So that's 15. So what flaws you have? Sharp teeth is what, 1?
No, sharp teeth or 2.
Yeah, 2.
Which it gives you an automatic or an additional automatic damage
unsoakable
on
lethal bite.
Yeah.
Like instead of dealing 1 unsoakable lethal per bite, you deal 2 instead. Oh, that's because you automatically, when you don't have the kiss, so you automatically just do damage. So, but what are your flaws? What of your flaws? Because you have additional path in. You got prey exclusion. That's funny. So what sort of crazy diet are you on?
Well, he was brought up on uh, uh, not eat consuming religious flesh,
Mm-hmm.
specifically those of their origins, which is uh, uh, leaders of like the Sikh faith.
Okay.
So most, I believe, there's another religion in the India area
There's Hindu,
that
Sikh.
pretty much the leaders of those groups are he just can't feed off of.
Okay. But you can feed off Muslims and Christians and everybody
Yep.
else is fine. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Paranoia. I don't know. What do you have to be
So
paranoid about?
that is actually created by Peaches. Her being a 80-year-old grandmother, she and her being embraced for quite a while now. She had got a very large collection of porcelain dolls that anybody that misbehaves to a certain point gets stuck in the room with the porcelain dolls. And anybody can agree being trapped in a room for months on end with porcelain dolls is going to make you freak out when you see porcelain dolls. Because those motherfuckers move when you're not looking.
Okay, so you got total insanity to put into a room full with porcelain dolls. Okay, maybe they move. You don't know. Peaches is a collector. She is Cathar. So, there's all sorts of crazy shit that Peaches got a hold of. You got Enemy 1.
That's something I was going to leave a little bit up to you.
Okay.
As being alive for quite a long while, especially fighting in a crusade, you make enemies.
Okay. And your title is... so I was going to think Bishop of War, but I'm thinking more because your character has no real background in combat, that you're Bishop of Security. So you're the one who basically makes sure that, like, you go into a spot with your Auspex and Obfuscate and Necromancy, ensure that whatever site that Sabbat needs to attack is not, like, under the control over God only knows. Because in Los Angeles, you've ran into so many things. You don't go to the beach anymore. Do you know why you don't go to the beach anymore? Because a fucking were-shark appeared. And ate a motherfucker. Ate a fucking shovelhead. You guys were fucking Long Beach. You were like, hey, let's have a party. We're going to shovelhead some people at the beach. This guy came up to you guys, said get off his beach. And you're like, nah, fool, fuck you. He turned into an 8-foot fucking land shark and started eating motherfuckers.
That fucker had more teeth than meat.
Yeah. You've gone to Chinatown to do business, and fucking crazy looking demons showed up. But they weren't like demons in the sense that they were more like Guyver looking bug demons. They were insectoid demon looking things. And fucking dragon people and shit. And little Asian girls with katanas. Like, LA's crazy. There's no fucking way. Oh, and then Peaches, don't get him started with the police chief of Los Angeles. He's a guy. He's the Rock. He's basically the guy from Fast and Furious. Like, over muscled, has a hit squad that does all this crazy action shit, and they just make criminals' lives miserable. And Peaches, being always a criminal, has always had to deal with this guy, and is just like, this fucking shit sucks. But there's something weird about him that you don't know. But he's like literally like The Rock in those movies. Just like fucking body slamming people through fucking like buildings and shit. Has like a full like head-on death squad of like trained professionals and ex-military like groups, and like the city of Los Angeles lets him do what he does for the sake of like keeping the streets clean or whatever. And crime is relatively down. Like, you know, there's still petty theft, there's still mugging, but like as far as like organized crime, it's pretty much like only like strong, you know, family mafia ties are still around. Crips and Bloods are pretty much just like block to block basis. There's no, you know, wide structure Los Angeles. Like they no longer have control over Compton. That's why the Sabbat can't just move into Compton or Inglewood or Commerce, because that place, even though there's still gang violence, it's not wide scale organized gang violence. It's just like street to street, block to block. There's no like head guy of the Crips or head guys of the Bloods, or there's no head guys of like MS-13 in Los Angeles. There's no backdoor for the Sabbat to kind of root themselves into, because all of these low level criminals, these criminal gangs, have just been taken out by this guy from the Los Angeles, like it's the like Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. It's like a joint task force. And he also has like state fucking authorization and has federal mandated fucking weaponry. Like he literally buys like M4s in bulk from the government. And like gets a blank check by the city of Los Angeles and the state of California. And that's where you guys steal most of your shit from, is from that guy. Because even though it's a well-oiled machine, there's still people at the end of the day controlling it, and people can be dominated or total insanity, or little Billy can just, you know, use obfuscate and just kind of open up doors for you guys to like sneak in.
Yep.
So, repelled by Cross, interesting. What's up with that?
He doesn't know. Growing up, he thinks it's part of like when his parents was taking him to church. They tried to baptize him one time, and like when he was a young kid, as soon as he started touching the water, he started really freaking out, and to the point where they had to stop the ceremony and like take him out of the building. And he's never really been in churches ever since that incident. The church kind of disowned family, and so and then it seemed to have manifested after Embrace, to where that just the sight of him just does not, it does not do good things.
So I've uploaded, so looking at my storage drive, which by the way, guys, I'm uploading it was going to take like 2.5 days to upload 5 episodes to YouTube, because they're all literally like 9 gig, 10 gig, 11 gig files. So I have episodes 7, 8, and 9 up. And we have a total of 12 episodes. So 12 times, let's see, 12 times 7 is I can't do math in my head for some reason, is 84. You will have 84 XP, but for the most part, your character is done. We have your backstory. You have resources 3, generation 5, because Talmarine. they don't embrace younglings. Even though your mindset is very young, your heritage and your what you were groomed for was supposed to lead you to, decades and decades of corruption and deception. But all that changed when you met Peaches, which he's leading you down a road of corruption and deception. For Peaches, I mean the Sabbat. Peaches has this really bitter rivalry with another Malkavian who is the Seneschal of Los Angeles. And currently, the Prince of Los Angeles, or the one claiming to be Prince of Los Angeles, is a colonel. He is a... which is actually kind of weird, because you're going to find out something interesting about this colonel that ties into Kern County. And so he is a colonel who has basically changed the game of the Camarilla. They haven't done anything remarkable yet, but he's slowly starting to whip the Cam into shape. So there's all these Camarilla elders and Camarilla movers and shakers in Los Angeles, but they're not unified. They're just kind of like, I'm this elder Malkavian in Beverly Hills, and I control all Beverly Hills. And then, there's an elder, there's a Artarch. I wouldn't say Artarch. She's not Artarch. She's an Anarch. But this Malkavian in Santa Monica who's the Baron of Santa Monica. And then there's a Toreador elder who is the Baron of Hollywood. But even they are slowly starting to get scared of what's happening with this declaration. And you've read this declaration. And this declaration is a man named, calling himself Lord Deuce of the Scarlet Empress, who has he's the general of the Holy Order of the Thousand Cranes, who is going to bring about harmony to the West. And his declaration is for those in each sect. And there's lists of things here that are kind of confusing to you, but you have a good idea. It's not just vampires. It's like, hey, look, werewolves. We know who you are. We're going to meet you. We want to meet with you. Hey, mages, we know who you are. We want to meet with you. This is definitely this open sort of we're coming, and if you don't come if you don't come meeting us, then you'll regret it, basically. And so Peaches is even though she doesn't show it, she's very scared of this. She's very scared of this new threat, because if somebody has enough power and influence to kind of scare the entire supernatural bedsides of the Cam and the Anarchs and God knows what, werewolves even, then everyone should be afraid of them. So, but Peaches has a lot on her plate. She's trying to maintain her archdiocese that she rightfully earned through blood and sacrifice, and even killing her own brothers and sisters of the sect. But she deserved it. She's the only one that's kept the Sabbat going in the greater Los Angeles area. So I'll let you spend your 77 XP on your own time. But as far as the rest of the evening goes, I think we're done. It's been a good solid hour and a half. Your character's looking pretty filled out. You might want to buy your willpower up, just because that's the roll for necromancy. By
No.
the by,
Mm,
I thought it was. I'm pretty sure. Necromancy, yeah. Canaanite must at least have 3 levels of primary path. Blah 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 blah. Secondary. Let's see. Summoning the soul. Oh no, you're right. Manipulation occult. Oh, it actually has like stats. Perception occult. Because usually I thought it worked exactly like thaumaturgy, where it's like
nope.
everything is willpower based. So no, yeah. So everything is basically stat based. Crazy. All right, you might have to buy up your social stats then. So, anyways, everything's looking pretty shaped out. You have 5 ritual. You gain a ritual for every dot of necromancy you have. So far I see you have 5 in your primary and 2 in your secondary. So you have a total of 2 level 1s, 2 level 2s, 1 level 3, 1 level 4, 1 level 5. So, and with that, we're going to call it there. Be sure to hang out with us this Saturday, starting at noon Pacific. It's going to be the new time. It's going to be a afternoon game. I know a lot of people are going to be celebrating Labor Day, but come hang out with us and see the new cast member. That is not D. Cooper. I had to put this not there because I haven't figured out his name or figured out how to change layouts yet. So, thank you guys so much for being here. We will see you Saturday for Starting XP Sabbat Sides, presenting for the Masquerade. I'm your storyteller extraordinaire, Michael. This is my player, Josh. Have a good evening. Take care. We're out. Bye.